Hey guys, it's the nerd half of this Nerdtroverts duo, and today is the first day of Breath of the Wild-a-thon, the Ruta marathon thing. I can't think of what it's called. This is like the second round of the Breath of the Wild-a-thon, and I forgot that it started today, which is why it's 11 o'clock at night. But this does go for a full month. It goes until the 20th of October, so I have plenty of time, and it is just the thing to get me out of a reading slump that I have yet again fallen into. So I am ditching the book that I'm in the middle of reading, and I'm going to try reading a whole bunch of new books this month. So the way this round works is that you join a team, and each team has individual challenges. So I picked a team based off of the challenges that most suited my to-be-read pile, rather than actually challenging myself to read books that I don't usually read, because I don't own horror. I don't want to read horror. So I'm going to be on Team Rivali, who is my least favorite champion in Breath of the Wild, but that's fine because he has the best challenges. Each team comes with like its own perk, but I'm not actually going to be using Rivali's perk, because the perk that comes with his team is that instead of drawing a blood moon card, which is like a randomized challenge, you can just read whatever you want. But I drew the card and I liked it, so I'm gonna stick with it. I also unlocked the glider perk by completing all of the main challenges in the first round of this Breath of the Wild-a-thon, and so I can actually do these challenges in any order that I want, which is great because some challenges I don't have a book for yet. So for the first challenge, which is the Great Plateau challenge, it is to read a book out of your comfort zone, and I kind of have two contenders. I'm not sure what one I'll go with, but I've got If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo, which follows the story of a trans girl. I haven't read from a trans perspective before, and I don't usually read books that are more sad inclined and that don't have a lot of plot and are more character driven, which I think is what this one is. So this would definitely be out of my comfort zone. The other book I have that's out of my comfort zone is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is out of my comfort zone not because of like the style of book or anything like that, but because it's more adult fiction than young adult fiction, and I haven't read a lot of it, and it's kind of intimidating. But I also really want to read this one as well, so I just have to sort of take that jump. I just haven't done it yet. So these are my two contenders for a book out of my comfort zone. I'm not sure what I'll end up going with, but we shall see, because these are both books that I do really want to read. The next challenge for Team Rivali is Bridge of Hylia, which is to read a book where a character crosses between worlds. And this isn't entirely accurate, but I think One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston might fit that criteria. I know it involves time travel. The question is, does that count? So I'm not sure if I will end up counting this one, but this is my current thought. I think time travel should count. It's about two girls who fall in love. They meet on the train. One of them's from the 70s, and that's pretty much all I know about this book. The next challenge is Llewellyn Village, I think is how you say it, and it is to read a predicted 5-star read. So I'm going with Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, because I have been putting off reading this even though I really want to read it, and I generally think I'm gonna love it. I'm so excited to actually read this book, so I'm gonna go with this one. Hopefully it is a 5-star read. I really hope it is, because I really want it to be, because I bought all three in like this fancy cover. So if I spent a lot of money on particular books to not like them, I'll be very upset. But I'm confident that I will like these books. This is the fan fiction that's written in the book Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. It's about Simon Snow, and I can't remember his name. They're like wizards or warlocks or something, sorcerers maybe, and I think he's part vampire, and they're roommates and they hate each other, but then they fall in love. They have to team up to like save the world. That's all I know about this book, but everything about it sounds right up my alley, and I've read from Rainbow Rowell before and I've really loved it. So yeah, predicted 5-star read. The next challenge is the Blood Moon card, and when I drew that card I got Ancient Sword, reread a childhood favorite. I have so many childhood favorites to choose from, but the book I decided to go with is the first book in a series that I absolutely love, which is Trixie Belden. This is actually my mum's from when she was like 14. It is falling apart at the seams, but she gave this to me when I really started to like love reading, and she's like, maybe you'd like these, and I did. I love them. I'm so upset that it's not a book series now, because if there had been like a fandom for this growing up, I would have loved it, but there wasn't. It's fine. It's just me alone in my corner. It's okay. But I love the series and I haven't read it in a while. There's a bookmark in it. I obviously tried to reread it at one point and failed, but I'm really excited to reread it. And I will forever be jealous of the fact that this book cost 95 cents. Trixie Belden, if you've never heard of it, because it's such a popular book. Trixie Belden is about a girl called Trixie who meets her new neighbour called Honey, and they become best friends and solve crimes. It's a really bad summary of this book. There's 3 people that live on this street. They live like out in the country. There's Trixie and her family, there's Honey and her family, and there's this like grumpy old guy in this other mansion, and he goes to the hospital, but there's still activity in that mansion, and they're trying to figure out what it is and what's going on. And I think they're like 14 or so. I have so many fond memories of this book series, but I have forgotten so much about it. And I'm also terrified, once I read the first book, I'm just gonna wanna read all like 34 of them. And the final challenge for this readathon is Divine Beast var Ruta, which is to read a book with the water buzzword in it. So a book that has water in the title or anything related. And I've had a look at my bookshelf and my TBR pile and I can't find one. The only book I can think of is The House in the Cerulean Sea, but I have read that and I didn't read it that long ago. But I can't think of any other book to read. Water buzzword. We'll just read Son of Neptune again. I don't know. I've got like 2 whole shelves of kind of a TBR pile. It's like books that I was either gifted or that I bought that I regretted. And they're more like books that I'm probably not going to get to ever, but I don't want to throw away in case I do get to them. I might have to go through that. I think I have The Fifth Wave, which might be the closest I'm going to get, but I can't say I'm too excited to read it. So we shall see, but it is Divine Beast var Ruta, so I kind of have to do it. I don't know if I'm going to get much reading done in the next hour for the first day, but I am excited to try and push myself to read a bit more this month. I was working overnight shifts for a while and that just throws me out so much that I just don't like reading before work, and then I get home from work and I go to sleep and it's like a whole thing. So I haven't read much in a very long time, probably since the last readathon that I did, which was in May. So it's been quite a few months of me not reading very much, so I'm excited to get back into that. Without further ado, let's get reading. So it has been a minute since I filmed the intro. I filmed that Monday night and it is now Saturday night. My week just didn't kind of go the way I wanted it to, and I didn't end up reading at all during the week. But I did pick up If I Was Your Girl today, and I did finish it today. So that is 1 book down. So this completes the Great Plateau challenge, which is to read a book outside of your comfort zone. And I went with this because it is a character-driven novel, it's contemporary, and it was about an experience that I'd never read about before, which is being trans. It kind of went how I expected it to go. I didn't love it because it was a character-based story. There was no real plot or anything. Like, the climax was that she was going to get outed, and I was literally just waiting for it. She got together with her love interest so quickly, and I was like, oh, this is gonna end in a train wreck, and I was correct. I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. I think overall it was an enjoyable book. I'm glad that I read it, but it's not overwhelmingly amazing. It didn't blow me away. It was just kind of there. I didn't love the ending. I really liked the friendship between the girls. I thought that was actually really sweet. I was really expecting them to be like bitchy and like horrible, but they ended up actually being really sweet and lovely people. I don't know how I feel about the love interest by the end of this book, and there's a character who did like a full 180, which pissed me off for the most bullshit reason, but here we are. And like, it's fine, it's a story about high school kids, like that happens, but there could have been so many other ways that information came out, and I'm just mad about the way that it did. So my final thoughts is just, I'm glad I read the book, but I don't think it's going to be a reread or necessarily a book I recommend. I'm not sure what book I'm going to pick up next, again because I obtained the glider perk. Having done the last readathon, I can read these books in any order that I want. I'm thinking I'll do either Carry On or The Last Stop. I'm thinking maybe Carry On because it's got more fantasy in it, so I think it'll really help me, and also I've been wanting to read it for forever. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do that one and then we'll go from there. I have also looked through my whole bookshelves and I don't have a book that has a water reference in the title. Literally the only one that I can find that I haven't read is The Fifth Wave. We're only going after Ruta, the water divine beast. It's fine. It's only like the final one that you have to do. I can't say I've ever felt the need to read The Fifth Wave. I think a friend of mine was getting rid of a bunch of books a long time ago and she was like, do you want my books? And I was like, hell yes. And now I just have all these books that I don't know anything about. But with that said, that is one book down, 4 more to go, I think, and 3 weeks left. So I'm hoping to pick up Carry On maybe tomorrow because the next 2 books I want to read are quite a bit thicker than the book that I read today. So hopefully I can get a big chunk of reading done tomorrow, but I am going to be playing with Karina online tomorrow. So maybe not. We'll see how it goes. I'll update you guys when and if I open another book. So it is pretty much exactly a week later. I have only just started reading today, so I haven't had anything to update you on, but I will run you through my week real quick just in case you want to know. On Saturday I played Sackboy and caught up with Karina, and on Sunday I did nothing, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I was working and then today is Thursday. So I took today and tomorrow off because I got my first vaccination for COVID-19, which I have been ridiculously excited for. Like, I have been trying to get my first vaccination for so long, but we don't really have Pfizer readily available in Australia, and I was told not to get the AstraZeneca and to wait for the Pfizer by my doctor. So like an idiot, I did. And I very much regret not getting the AstraZeneca earlier. I probably would have been fine. But here we are, getting there. In 3 weeks, I'll be fully vaccinated. I can't fucking wait. But so I took today and tomorrow off for that in case I had any symptoms. I've suffered from migraines pretty much my whole life. So I was afraid it would kind of cause a flare up on that. I was afraid this week was going to end badly. But I'm okay today. I might be feeling it tomorrow. We shall see. And then Saturday I'm catching up with Karina again, and then Sunday I have D&D. But you're not here to hear about my week, you're here to see what my reading has been like, and I'm pleased to tell you that I have officially started my second book for this readathon, and it is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Also, can we take a second, like, I spent so much money on like this particular cover, but like this book is stunning. I don't actually know all that much about this book or what to expect from this book. I know it's kind of loosely inspired by Harry Potter because this is actually like fan fiction that was written in Rainbow Rowell's book Fangirl that then became a book of its own, and like it was kind of just generally known by people who read Fangirl that Simon Snow was kind of code for Harry Potter, like that was kind of the thing. But this has obviously become like its own story. It's going to be very different from Harry Potter. I don't think it's going to follow like the main plot of Harry Potter whatsoever. For one thing, he's like 17, so it's like his last year of school, and for another I just get different vibes. I'm really excited to read it. I have been looking forward to reading this book for so freaking long. I have no idea why I put it off. I'm not very far in. I'm only 34 pages in, so not very far at all. I haven't even met Baz yet, so there's that. Like, his name has been brought up, but he's not actually in the book yet. Like, he hasn't made an appearance yet, and like he's that guy on the cover, so like he's got to be here. I'm not usually a big fan of like enemies to lovers because that's sort of not really my main vibe But there is something about people who like begrudgingly have to work together, who are actually like, hey, this other person's not that bad, that turns into love. I'm going to go back to reading because I very much want to continue this book, but I thought I'd give you a little update. I hopefully will be able to read most of tomorrow, but it will definitely depend on if I'm feeling any side effects. But I should be fine. And then I should be able to read some of Saturday, but probably none of Sunday. But I'm hoping I can finish this book by the end of the week so that I can start on the next book as soon as possible. For now, let's focus on Carry On. I can't wait to continue, and this is a big boy. This is like 500 pages. This is a big boy book, but I cannot fucking wait. So I will update you more when there's something else to update. So it is now Friday night, it is about 6 o'clock, and I have just finished Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I kept thinking to myself today, I need to like update midway through to be like, I have made an alarming amount of progress, and then I just finished it instead. So, I mean, you know how it is, right? You just start a book and then you just never put it down. As predicted, this is a 5-star read. I loved everything about this book. I really wish I had read this last in the readathon because I really want to read Wayward Son, but it's fine. I can wait. I have so many things I want to say about this book, but I don't know if I have the words to articulate it right now. I think I'm going to sit with it and I'll probably talk more about it at the end of the video. I don't know what book I'm going to read next. Maybe I'll read One Last Stop. Maybe it's the other really big book that I've got, so it could be useful to get that out of the way. But I probably won't be starting that until next week because I've got stuff on. Tomorrow I'm like hanging out with Karina virtually, and then I've got a virtual D&D session which will probably take all day Sunday. So probably not going to read, but I will try and get some reading done on Monday and I will update you on that then. Alright, as promised, it is Monday and I did technically start One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, but I think I made it about 5 pages before I figured out that I hadn't eaten all day and I was hungry, and so I stopped reading to eat and I haven't picked it up since. I am going to start though. I just kind of had a bit of like a lazy day today. Just not a fun day as a woman today, and I was too busy on the weekend to do any reading, and I was still so caught up with like Carry On because I just adored that book, and I'm still not totally over it. Like I still want to like just reread that entire book, but I am going to be reading One Last Stop if it kills me. I don't know what I'm expecting personality wise. I was kind of thrown by like the beginning, if I'm honest, but it's a big book, so I'm sure I will meet the love interest. Like I'm 5 pages in, like it's not like I've read 100 pages and the love interest hasn't shown up yet. Like it's fine. But I don't know, I wasn't expecting like house hunting or apartment hunting to be like the first chapter. My camera died as I was in the middle of saying something and I don't know what. So I have charged it, it is still the same night, and I have read a little bit more of One Last Stop. I'm on page 40 or like chapter 3 if that is better for you to understand. It's not very far into this big book, but I'm enjoying it. I say with a question mark only because I haven't really gotten anywhere yet, and I'm still trying to understand these characters and all of that, but I can definitely feel the chemistry between the two girls and I'm very excited to read about their romance and how it develops. I'm actually very excited for it. The one thing that surprised me when I've seen like art and stuff of these characters, for some reason I thought the like punk looking chick was the one from present day and then the like girly one was from the past. I don't know why. Bad stereotyping maybe? Like, I just assumed, like, you know, you've got the out and proud current day girl and then one who's like forced in the closet because of homophobia. I think that's where my line of thought was. I'm pleasantly surprised by the fact that it's the opposite. And it makes sense when you look at the cover of the book, because this is the one on the train. So she's clearly from the past. Not that I technically know she's from the past yet, but like, we knew this book was about time travel, even if it's on a subway. I don't know how it works. Don't think I'm going to get an explanation on how it works, but I think I'm okay with that. I can forgive a lot of like wishy-washy, timey-wimey stuff in a lot of things, and I have full trust in Casey McQuiston. I loved Red, White and Royal Blue. That like story was probably more up my alley, being like Prince, first son of the president, and like fake relationship. I love that kind of stuff. But this is also kind of forbidden because you've got people from two different times, and I think it's going to be kind of heartbreaking, which I don't like. But I think it's going to be totally worth the ride, and I cannot wait to read about this. I am working tomorrow, so probably won't be able to read all that much, but I'm only working twice this week. So Wednesday, Thursday, fingers crossed, I can smash this book out and have this one finished as well. But we shall see, and I will probably update you on Wednesday. as promised, it is Wednesday. Oh, I was gonna say it is Wednesday, but I think I'm getting close to midnight, so it is almost Thursday. And I have read nothing. I was on track to reading. I finally motivated myself to paint my D&D miniature today, which I've been putting off for months. So like I was really happy and pleased with myself for that. And then I was kind of just chilling out before dinner. And then I went to dinner and there was a comment made about how I lack motivation in life because I have yet to get a full-time job from the job that I want because I haven't explicitly asked for it. And so all dopamine left my brain and I have been trying to chase dopamine with like the familiar stuff around me as opposed to something new, like reading a book that I'm not familiar with yet. So I haven't read yet. I will try and read before I go to bed. But right now I'm just trying to cheer myself up from a throwaway comment that someone made that it's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. So there's that. And now I feel like shit. That's really the big takeaways that I haven't been reading because someone made me feel like shit today. So anyway, this isn't the fun update that I thought. I fully planned on doing like a cute update. Like, I painted my mini. I read a bunch of the book, except I only did one of those things, and this isn't a vlog about painting my mini. It's a vlog about reading. Anyway, I'm gonna play The Sims and watch Mamma Mia to try and make myself feel better, and then hopefully I'll do some more reading before bed. I tried watching Critical Role, like Exandria Unlimited, like finishing that up because I want to finish that up before campaign 3 next week, but my brain just refused to latch onto it. Yep, so that's my night. Hopefully tomorrow will go a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna try and quickly film this before the camera battery dies, but well, technically it's Thursday, it's like 4 in the morning, but I have read quite a bit more of One Last Stop. I've read about another 100 pages, so I'm on like 146. So I've got a little bit of the chunk through it. I'm like a quarter way through this book now, which is exciting. We are finally getting somewhere with this story and I can't wait to continue, but I do need to go to bed. I am feeling better now, in case you're curious. Distraction is a hell of a thing, and I'll probably feel better tomorrow. I was just wallowing in self-pity a bit tonight, but I am glad that I got some reading done. I'm feeling a lot better about that now, and I can't wait to do more reading when I wake up later today because it is 4 in the morning. So good night, and I will see you in like 2 seconds when I record the next clip. This is such a dumb thing to be mad about, but the front cover is pissing me off. They're not in line, and I'm sure that there is a reason, but I'm mad about it. It is 2 minutes till midnight on Thursday night, and I have just finished One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, and when I say just finished, I mean I closed the book and then picked up the camera. I love this book. It's amazing. It was pretty slow to start, I'm not gonna lie, but I think that was true for Red, White and Royal Blue as well. Like, it kind of took a second for anything to kind of happen. From memory, I could be wrong about that. I know this one was like a little bit more of a slow burn than Red, White and Royal Blue, which is fine, they're different stories. But yeah, I have finished yet another book, and this fills the prompt for read a book where a character crosses between worlds. So I remember mentioning at the beginning that I wasn't sure if this counted because it was time travel and not necessarily crossing between worlds, but I did put it out to the Breath of the Wild-a-thon Discord, which while I'm in, I'm not active in because I'm horrible with Discord. I've always been a lurker. Anyway, I put it in just to be like, hey, would this count? I want to read this book. And Princess Zelda herself, or Little Book Owl if you want to be technical, responded to my question and said that this totally counts as a crossing between worlds. So that is one more prompt completed. I have 2 prompts left, one of which is my Blood Boon card, which was to read a book that was like your childhood favourite, or like one of your favourites from childhood. And technically, as a member of Team Rivali, I didn't actually have to do the Blood Moon card. I could have picked any other prompt. But I drew the Blood Moon card anyway to see if I was going to like it, and I really loved the idea. And so I have Trixie Belden to read. And then the last prompt is water buzzword, to read a book that has water or something water related in the title. I don't really have one. I think the closest I have is The Fifth Wave, which I don't necessarily want to read, but I think it might be my only option. I have it, I might as well read it. This could be the push I need to actually read this book. I don't even know if I know what it's about. I think it's like a dystopian, apocalyptic kind of book. I have absolutely no clue. I will give sort of a more in-depth review and thoughts and wrap up and stuff of this book at the end of the video with like the rest of them, because I just want to sit with this for a little bit. I think I'll probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't my favorite book, but I did really love it. I do think it's great. I don't actually have anything bad to say about it other than it was a bit slow paced. I will hopefully start Trixie Belden. I'm working tomorrow, but maybe when I finish work and over the weekend, and hopefully read that quickly so I can have a whole week to read The Fifth Wave. But I will update you with all of that whenever it happens. Also, I have a pet peeve about this book and I want to show you what it is because it pisses me off. Welcome to my bookshelf. It's messy. The messiness is irrelevant to this story. This is Casey McQuiston's other book. Red, White and Royal Blue. It's a paperback. Tell me you don't look at that and want to die. Why? They are both Casey McQuiston books. They are both published by the same place. They're both paperbacks. Why are they different sizes? This is such like a dumb thing to be mad about. I bought the paperback specifically so it would match Red, White and Royal Blue on the bookshelf, and now it doesn't. Anyway, that's the discovery that I've made. I'm off to bed now. It is now Saturday and I am meant to be playing Overcooked with my friends because we're still in lockdown. We're about to come out of it, but we haven't like just played a game, just us four, in a while. So we're about to play Overcooked, but I downloaded the wrong game and we foolishly assumed that the first Overcooked would work fine, but the first Overcooked doesn't have online multiplayer. So I've been trying to download the all you can eat. It's taken like an hour and a half. I've still got 40 minutes left and I've just now thought, you know what, this is the perfect time to start Trixie Belden. There is a bookmark already in it from when I tried to read it probably years ago, like reread it years ago, and I never finished. But we're gonna start fresh. This book is falling apart because it's old. It's from like the 70s, I think. So we're gonna start that, and then I will come back to reading it after I've played with my friends. But I just thought this could be a good start, and like I've been sitting here doing literally nothing for like an hour. Like I should have been reading, but it's never too late. So I'm gonna make the most of this time and do some reading. Also, this book, it smells amazing. I've had to take off, it's almost like taking off a dust jacket because like the cover is being held together by tape and is no longer connected to the book. So I've taken it off to not further damage it. But yeah, this book, it smells amazing. Like it's truly like the old book smell and I love it. Anyway, I'm gonna start reading now. I've literally spent all of 5 seconds reading this book when I was just hit with like a very vivid memory that I think I've blocked out from my brain, which also shows my age. This book series, which I adored, I probably read when I was 13, 14. And 2 characters in this book, Trixie and Jim, were like one of my first ever like ships, favorite couples, OTPs, that's not a term that's used anymore, was one of my first ever ships that I had. And I just thought that they were so freaking cute and their romance was so cute in the book, and like they're young in the book, so it's not like an intense romance. It's just kind of like, it's very cute and it's very sweet, and I really liked the romance. And I just had this memory of back in the old days on the phones when Bluetooth was like a much bigger thing than it is now, and you would change the name of your phone to something fun. And when people tried to search for Bluetooth phones to like send images, videos, sounds, whatever, that's the name they would see. And mine was Trixie Heart Jim. And I just remember there was like one afternoon on the bus coming home from school, and there must have been some senior whose name was Jim, because they kept calling out asking who Trixie was. Trixie loves Jim, haha. And I was like mortified. Oh my god, why did I do that? Why did I change my Bluetooth name to Trixie Heart Jim? Like, okay, look, I love this book with my whole heart. This is one of my favorite book series that I've ever read. But the exposition in this book is not done well. It's very, like, awkward in the way it comes about. It's just very unnatural. I don't know if part of that is, like, the way that language has evolved. I believe you do, he said, sobering slowly, and all of the tense stubbornness seemed to ebb out of him. Nobody's been nice to me since my mother died 2 years ago, and I guess I've forgotten how to act with decent people. Just, it's a little awkward. It's kind of charming. It's awkward in a charming way, because I have a lot of love for this book series. I think if I hadn't read it before, I'd be like, ugh. But I have read it before, so it's nice. This is gonna end badly. I can feel it in my soul.
Hey, I don't know what you guys feel like. I'm optimistic. This is my... okay. Get good. Get good. That's the fire hose. We don't want to cook the fire hose. We move that out of the way. Remember to clean the dishes.
Ah!
At what point do I start screaming at people? Get that fuck out.
Ah!
Move out of the way. Move out of the way. Quick, tomato soup, tomato soup. Axolotl, what are you doing? I don't know. Daniel, Daniel. Fuck you, it's on his...
Fuck you!
More importantly, why are we playing in the middle of the road?
This is a bad business practice.
Old people. Did you say old people?
Oh, fuck, that's a new one.
Oh, wrong part.
I know, I'm sorry.
Well, that's bad.
You pushed me out of the way for no reason. Why would you do that?
It was an accident. I got it. I don't got it. Alright. Play coming. I'm gonna do that. Me. Alright,
Lettuce would be good, please.
I gave you like 20.
Yeah, and none of us grabbed it, so.
Yes. Sounds like a you problem.
Fuck off.
Plate. No, don't put buns on plates. Don't put buns on plates for us. Pan.
Oh, I just lost a fucking plate.
Cara, no.
I'm so fucking sorry.
You just shucked out that
I know, this isn't my day. I'm crying. I can't see through my tears. I picked up the wrong thing.
fish. No.
Fuck. Oh, that's on fire. Oh. No.
Where's the extinguisher?
It is later Saturday night, and I have finished Trixie Belden and the Secret of the Mansion, which is the first book in the Trixie Belden series. This completed my Blood Moon card challenge, which for me was to reread a childhood favourite. And this is absolutely a childhood favourite of mine. I actually very desperately want to continue the rest of the series, and there's a lot of them, but I finished this book and immediately was like, I want to read the next one. Okay, so I just ran out of space on my memory card for my camera, so I need to transfer that onto my laptop before I go to bed tonight. But I just wanted to finish up my thoughts. So as I was saying, I have finished Trixie Belden, which is my Blood Moon card. So I only have the one prompt left, which is the water buzzword prompt. But I really loved rereading Trixie Belden. I definitely want to like read more of the series. There's so much about it that I've forgotten. There's so many books in this series. So I hope to go back to it. But we shall see if I still feel like reading it in like a week's time. I will probably add some more thoughts at the end of the video. I'll probably like just do like a general wrap up of all the books I've read. So I will save the rest of my thoughts for then. I also had a look at there's like a couple of extra prompts that you can do. One of which I'm not going to be able to do because I didn't read it beforehand, which was the Weapon Connoisseur, which was to have every book be a different genre. that you read, which I didn't do because most of these are contemporary. The other two I might be able to do. One was to read a book in one sitting, and I'm tempted to get the second Trixie Belden book and do that. And the other one was to read a book centered around like a rivalry, and I'm pretty sure Carry On fits that description, so I think that technically counts. I can't remember what that one was called. Anyway, that is it for tonight. I will update you once I've started reading The Fifth Wave. So by this point, it is Thursday morning, and by Thursday morning, I mean it is 3:40 a.m. and the book that I have started reading is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I knew this was like an end of the world book. I didn't realize it was about. I don't think I like it, but I'm not very far in. So we will have to see how I feel during the day because I'm about to go to bed because it is almost 4 a.m. I have noticed the chapters happen mid-page. Not a fan of that. The chapters are also each literally like 2 or 3 pages, and I'm like, dude, just make a new paragraph. Just put like a line break in. I hate that in books. It's like a pet peeve. It's really frustrating. The chapters are too short, so it's not very captivating. It's just, we're not off to a great start. So I'm gonna go to bed because it's late. This is a pretty shit update. Sorry for that. But I have started reading, so hopefully I will get some more reading done tomorrow. This is such a big book and I'm so not motivated to read it. But we're gonna try because this is our last week, so we have to get it done. So I've got today, and then I'm working Friday, and then I have the weekend. And then that's the end of the readathon. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I get it finished by then. I have been putting off reading all day to the point of it being like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I still haven't read a book. But our power just went out because there is a huge thunderstorm happening, which I love. I love a good thunderstorm. But my phone is on like 40% battery, so if this doesn't force me to read, I don't know what will. I'm 76 pages in. I'm so fucking bored. I don't care about this story. I just went to record and I lost my page. All I really wanted to say is that I'm bored. I don't really find myself enjoying this book. I think I'm a little old for it. I'm very lost. Not lost as in like I don't know like what's happening necessarily. It's just lost as in like, why is this being told? Why, what is happening here? I don't know. It's like, it makes sense. I'm just not enjoying it, I guess. I'm like 100 and something pages in now. I have 3 days left to finish this book. I think I can. Anyway, I know this hasn't been the most interesting of vlogs, so thank you for hanging with me if you still are here. I wanted to read a little bit more before I went to bed. And guys, I can't. This love interest thing, whatever it is, I hate it. It is awful and painful. I get she's a teenager. I understand. But holy fuck. This is painful. Because like her whole thing is like, you don't know who could be one of them. You can't trust anyone. And then all of a sudden, she's like, the tub must be very heavy. His biceps strain against his sleeves, like his Bruce Banner mid-hulkifying, and the veins stand out on his neck. Why? And I'm in pain. Anyway, that's that on that. See you tomorrow. I lied again. Is this guy gonna be an alien? Is that what's happening right now? I think he might be the alien that was trying to kill her. My best guess. It's the only brain power I've got for this book. Anyway, hopefully the next time I update you will be tomorrow. Ow, I just hit my head. I know it must look like nothing's changed because I'm still in pajamas in my room in the middle of the night, but it is in fact Friday night, or I suppose more accurately, Monday morning. It is 3:10 on Saturday morning, and I have just finished The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, which, funnily enough, has nothing to do with water. I didn't enjoy it. Like, it wasn't awful. It wasn't the worst book I've ever read in my life. The plot did make sense. The characters were shit. but not shit because they weren't well written, just shit because I didn't like them. I found Cassie annoying. Ben was confusing because I wasn't really sure what anything was. And what's the other dude's name? Evan? Evan was Evan. I don't like him. I don't like the romance. You should have seen the faces I was pulling. I was so tempted to film it, but I just wanted to read the book. But every time they like kissed or anything, I was like reading the book, like. So suffice to say, I didn't like the romance. It was just shit. I don't know. I'm thinking 2 out of 5 stars because it wasn't awful, but I didn't enjoy it. But the good news is, with that, I have completed all of my challenges. It is 3 in the morning, so I think it is time that I go to bed. I will round this out tomorrow. Okay, so it is actually much later than when I finished this readathon. It is actually the beginning of November. I have been awake for 26-ish hours now. And for some reason I was like, this is the perfect time to wrap up this video, so excuse my everything. So let's start wrapping up the books I read and just talking a little bit about them. So the first book that I read was If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo, which fulfilled the prompt for reading a book that was outside of my comfort zone. I chose this book because it was a contemporary character-driven story about a trans girl, which I had never read from before. I don't tend to go for character-driven stories, and contemporary isn't my favourite. I read more of it than I think I'd like to admit, but it's not my favourite go-to genre, so it was enough outside of my comfort zone that I felt like it fit this prompt. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. There were a few things I took issue with, one of which being the boyfriend. I really didn't like him towards the end. I kind of understood what they were going for with the whole, like, you know, he doesn't know but he's trying to learn, like, and that sort of gradual acceptance. Like, I understand and I think it is important to show that, but I also think it's important not to cling to the people that you were close to in high school because they're not always going to follow you throughout your life. I say fully being close friends with people from high school. Overall, this was a really good book. I didn't actually want to put it down. I didn't feel like a compulsion to continue reading, but I did like it enough to just want to sit there and read the whole thing. So I'm really glad that I picked this book up. I'm really glad that I read it, but I think in the future I want a bit more nuance and have a bit more depth to it than this book did. It wasn't like it was shallow or anything, but I think I just want a bit more at this point in my life from the books that I'm reading. But I am really happy that I picked this book up. Yeah, that's that one. The next book that I read was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, which fulfilled the prompt of reader predicted 5-star read, and a 5-star read it was. I have read from Rainbow Rowell before, and even though I always sort of enjoyed her stories, none of them ever really like stuck with me all that much. Like, I read Eleanor and Park, I couldn't tell you what it was about. I enjoyed Fangirl, I've forgotten most of the plot. And even though I didn't always like love Rainbow Rowell's books, like I loved them as I read them and then I would like forget them, I don't think that's gonna happen with these books. I'm really excited to continue reading. I love Simon and Baz. I love their story. Everything about it is just amazing. I'm not usually an enemies to lovers kind of fan. I don't love it, but they're not enemies as they are more rivals, which kind of makes it a lot better. And just knowing how the story was going to end, like just knowing they were going to get together in the end, just like made the first half like so fun to read. If you haven't picked up Carry On, I highly recommend it. It is so much fun, and the magic system is incredible for a book that doesn't actually focus all that much on the magic. It is much more about the romance. Holy shit, the magic system's cool. I want more of it. Luckily for me, there are 2 more books in the series, so hopefully I get a lot more of the magic system in the future books, but for now, I generally don't have anything bad to say about this book. I loved it. I enjoyed it. 10 out of 10 recommend. The next book that I read is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, which feels the prompt for read a book where a character travels between worlds. And I felt this book was fitting because it had a time travel element to it. It was a bit slow paced in the beginning, which was a little frustrating. I wasn't really sure what to expect from this book, but by the time it picked up, holy crap, I didn't want to put this book down. It was amazing. The romance is great, the other friendships, and just in general the story was just so fascinating. And it didn't have a big sort of story narrative. It was very character heavy because it's a romance book, but I was just so captivated by this couple, and I genuinely didn't know how this was gonna end, and it was just so freaking exciting to see the story and see these characters, and I'm really happy with it. I don't have that many issues. The only main one I can think of was that it was a bit slow, but the romance was incredible. So if you are a fan of a nice contemporary romance with a bit of a twist, highly recommend One Last Stop. The next book that I read is The Secret of the Mansion, a Trixie Belden book by, I don't even know who it's by Julie Campbell. This was my Blood Moon card, which was to reread a childhood favorite, and this absolutely fits the bill. I have zero complaints. Trixie Belden is amazing. I will love this book and this series for the rest of my life. The exposition in this book was a bit awkward at times, I did notice, but I had so much fun rereading this. I really want to reread the whole series now. They're so old, but it just makes them that much more charming. And maybe I've got rose-tinted nostalgic glasses on, but I freaking love this series, man. It's so good. I have zero complaints. And now I really want to read the second one. And last, but certainly not least, well, kind of least, I have The Fifth Wave by Ricky Yancey, which fulfilled the prompt for the water buzzword. Didn't love this book. I actually didn't really like this book at all. I had no desire to read it. The only reason I read it was because of the buzzword, and will not continue. Do not care for it. It was fine. If I'd read this in high school, I probably would have loved it. It was very classic dystopian. Did not like the romance though. Besides that, I just didn't care. It wasn't that it was bad. It was well written. The characters were mostly believable. They were teenagers. It was fine. I just genuinely didn't care. I had no interest in this book, in the story, anything about it. So these are all of the books that I read. And with all 5 of these books, I actually managed to complete a side quest kind of thing. The Weapon Connoisseur. I also managed to complete another side quest, I guess technically, which was to read a book about rivals, and I found the book about rivals. I don't know if you can double up on books. I say it counts. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me. I'm sorry it was a little bit boring. I was in lockdown. I couldn't go anywhere, but I hope you enjoyed my thoughts. That is everything. I'm severely sleep deprived, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Editing me is gonna hate me, but that is a future me problem. And speaking of future me, you'll just have to wait for the next video to see my life. That was a really bad segue and I didn't know where I was going with it. As I said, I'm sleep deprived. Thank you for watching. Bye! Am I leaving that? Is that gonna be my outro? You know what? Fuck it. That's the outro.